Howdy, 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 everybody, and welcome to the iGPFun-F3 series presented by North World Sim. We're here live at Road America. I'm Austin. I'm joined by Joshua Lee. We got Marco Barbadero in the production booth, and you're here watching Apex Racing TV for another fantastic round of the iGPFun-F3 series. Josh, how you doing?
Doing great on this beautiful Sunday. Ready to see these drivers take on Road America, one of the most famous race circuits in America, known for Indy cars, NASCAR Xfinity Series, and of course some great GT action as well. The thing is going to be the most of the same great racing from these F3 cars.
Yeah, high draft, high downforce. Always going to be a great mix around here because it's the best of both worlds. You got long straights, going to be a lot of close battles, and you got some amazing corners here at Road America. I know Canada corner and that world famous carousel. And don't forget about this famous corner number 3. We're going to buy the actual corners, not by the track corners, as they say, since they like to count every little bit of a turn here. So I will say corner number 3. But yeah, this track so famous and always fun to drive on in any car you've ever driven. Very famous for endurance races as well here on iRacing.
Another famous part of this circuit, the carousel, long sweeping right-hander, completely flat out in these F3 cars. And they lunge out onto this long straightaway, another fast kink before they head through into the final sector of this racetrack to complete the lap. Lap time's looking to be around the 2-minute mark, but Raul Hyman able to get into the 1:59.927 range. But 2-minute lap times are going to be prevalent today, as there goes one car off track. That was Pedro Oliveira. It was also not put in a lap time, so that's also going to ruin any chance that he has of qualifying.
Yeah, it's an open qualifying, 25 minutes here, so I expect if you get across the line right now, you'll be able to just barely squeak by at the end of the session. We're looking at Antonio Ruzeski, who, well, last week at Detroit was a absolute carnage fest, and Antonio was not having the best week back there. But don't worry, we go from a place with no runoff and just serious walls to a place of all the runoff in the world, but that runoff being grass, which is the proper runoff, I should say.
Qualifying about to finish up. We move on to Luca Varani in the 222. He's going to come down the front straightaway.
Coming up the hill, coming across the line. Luca currently sitting in 9th. Half a second to the leader. He jumps up into 8th place.
2 minutes, 4:81 for Luca Varani. Now on Mark Alcaraz. He's going to jump up to 7th in the 14. 2 minutes, 4:38.
That's a tasty lap by Mark right there. Let's go on to Zachary Beaston. Right now, he's coming into the final corner. Very light braking on that final corner. You just kind of have to roll the car through there because it's kind of off-cambered a little bit. Get onto the throttle. Up the hill you go. Blind crest. There was a nasty Trans Am wreck right there earlier this year where we had a car flip over another car. And hopefully we don't get any of that here today on iRacing. But yeah, that hill has caused a few problems for some people.
Looking at Luciano Lorenzo.
And on to Gianfranco Pogodo. He's currently in second, 1/10 behind. He's got some draft of the car in front of him. Can Gianfranco top Hyman? No, he doesn't. Improves by a 10th, but not close enough, unfortunately.
Only the second driver to go into the 1:59 range, though, so definitely a great lap from Gianfranco Pogodo. We're now on board with Chuck Morrow through the final corner. He sits in 32nd out of 60. Let's see if he can improve coming across the start-finish line up that hill. here on the front straightaway of Road America and across the line. Will it be enough to improve? Unfortunately not. Over to Punzengruber, 35th currently. He's going to come across the line. Will he improve at all? No, he will not. 201.58. On to Lucas Lachnier, 18th. So we finish up all the current laps on the racetrack. He's coming through sector number 3 right now, using that curb on the outside. Just a few more corners left. Going to need to nail these corners. A 135.7 as he crosses the sector line that time by. Into the final corner. Will it be enough to move up from that current 18th spot that he is in? Almost 8/10 back from the leader, Raul Hyman. Coming up the hill and across the line. It does not look like he will improve. It is going to be a 2-minute lap time, specifically 2:01.54 for Lucas Lachnier. We now hop over to Ajibola Lawal in the 43. Last car left on the racetrack to come across the start-finish line to complete this qualifying session.
Yeah, it's come around that final bend and just unfortunately gets blipped out of existence. The top 20 all within a second of Raul J. Hyman. That's how tight this field is, and that's going to be a very tight race. Raul J. Hyman takes pole, followed by Gianfranco Pagodo, Alex Alcaraz, Stratus Carl Goodsis, Russell Soto, Christopher Herbert, Mark Alcaraz, Richard Wedstead, Luca Ferrari, Zoltan Soboter, Stuart Minland, Charles Ng, Philip Lucas, Samuel Hermer, Caitlin Height, Matt Laubser, Abjal Lawal, Lucas Lachnier in 18th, followed by Luciano Lorenzo, Zachary Beaston, Ron McGuire, Sammy and Venabalis, Ben White, Nolan Allure, Lucas Maruk, Dave Martin, Andy Flint, Rickard Boberg, Sonny Rosario, Adam Talsma, Klaus Guger, Chuck Maru, JJ Gonzalez, Will McIntyre, Clemens Punzengruber, Marcel Berg, Russell Kirkwood, and Richard Veen. Right behind it, followed by Clark Williams, Carl Cranswick, Johan Bergeson, Stephen Rubens, Christian Birch, Nick Carty, Alex Hopkins, Vladimir Cardella, Johnny Coco, Dirk Provley in 48th. They're followed by Gianfranco Soletto, Alessandro Antonio Rizewski, Christian Glamsetter, Vincent Casanova, Bill Wallner, Reed Dennis, J.A. Bush, Chris Trott, Ross Gudes, and Pedro H. Oliveira, followed by James Luis and Mark Mathias at the end of the 60-car grid as the field is all lined up and getting ready to go. They're curving over the hill. You can't even see the end all the way to the front. Oh, man, this is going to be a great race.
If you're starting on that hill, I am very worried for your start. You're going to need to nail it to avoid going completely backwards off the start.
Oh,
but 60 cars are ready to go.
I've seen some horror stories on the back of the grid. The Reds are coming up. Here we go. 5 red lights. iGPFun is racing here at Road America. And it's going to be a very tight start because Road America constantly wide, but only for about 2 to 3 cars. And 3 cars is a stretch here. And it's Hyman, Pagodos, Carl Glitzis, your top 3, followed by Alcaraz, Herberto Soto, Alcaraz again, Wedstead, Verani Miller, your top 10 as it comes through turns 1 and 2.
Good start for Raul Hyman. He's going to lead the way, but Pagano keeping him reeled in behind as everybody gets stuck in behind them. Back through turn number 1. Ooh. Oh, 1 car off, the 52, Nolan Allure.
Allure not going to be happy about that. You can see the massive pack of N3 cars. There's already got to Pagono to Hyman, and cars going way off wide. That's
Christoph Herberto.
Herberto, there we got a car on the wall. That's Alcaraz. Alex Alcaraz is off. More chaos and carnage in turn 3.
The 039, Luciano Lorenzo, around as well in that one runoff area coming through turn 3. But they come now into the carousel. Another car goes wide.
Charles Glitzes is off in that runoff area that I like to call bratwurst because they love cooking a mean bratwurst in that area. And now it's time to enter Speedville and around that carousel.
Everybody using the draft to their advantage. The 31 off track. That's Matt Laubser. Gets back on. Another one off track. I believe that was the old 39 of Luciano Lorenzo. Once again, 3 cars off track now.
My goodness. Laubser goes off track, avoids the wall, goes back on track, then gets back off track again in the more narrow part as we head into Canada corner. Just look at all these F3 cars. Everyone trying to keep it clean. But speaking of keeping it clean, Raul Hyman and Gianfranco Pagano in their own land right now. They've got a massive gap to everyone behind them.
Lap 1 just now getting completed.
Only 2 real retirements that time by Guger and Kirkwood.
Side by side, the 350 and the 49. That's Russell Soto and Stuart Millen. Racing through turn 1. They're going to dive down the hill into turn number 2. Everybody getting single file now. Majority for the top of this field. Couple side by side battles looking back. Whoa, run around. That's Chris Alberto. The 92 comes back onto the racetrack. And it looks like he just vanished into the void.
Herberto's been shut off in the shadow realm. And yeah.
Contact!
Massive contact. And we got a engine cover that's off of Marcus.
Oh, he's around! Multiple cars involved! 3, 4, 5 cars involved, flipping! Aylin Hyde involved! Who's the other one? Sammy Van Appels, the 56 now around from the 47! Rod McGuire!
Oh my goodness! Chaos here at Road America. Marcel Berg is stopped on track. Both his wheels are just off and he's unable to go. Here's a replay of that. The engine cover comes off. Chaos happens as they come back on the track. More cars involved. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think 10 cars were involved. 1/6 of this entire field has been involved in that incident. Absolute chaos here at Road America. I know yellow flags don't usually get called automatically, but I would say a full-on safety car would be needed in that situation.
Man, what an intense series of events there. Oh, look at this side-by-side battle for Ronnie and Soto. Soto gonna grab that spot away from Verani. Now Russell Soto makes top 5.
Well, just for this moment, because Verani's got the draft of Soto coming onto this long straight right here. And so Verani can just stay up in that draft. And remember, it's a 23-lap race. It's not going to happen immediately as we ride on board Mark Alcaraz. He goes down to the inside and just trying to break up that draft as Soto trying to catch him. And early into the braking, Verani has to go wide because down to his inside, that is Stratos Koroglitsis. After going wide, he's trying to get back up to the field.
Mark Alcaraz in the 14 sits in 4th. He has a mirror full of Russell Soto. That 350 going forward up the field the correct way he needs to. But Raul Hyman checking out from the rest of the field right now. I mean, look at the gap. Almost 8 seconds between him and the current car we're looking at, Stuart Millen in the 49.
Speaking of going the correct way up the field, our biggest mover of this race is Pedro H. Oliveira once again, up 25 spots. The Brazilian is putting on a absolute clinic here today on how to run a race clean.
Back up to the front, Richard Wedstead in the 2, currently sits in 3rd. Up the hill to take another lap. Man, Austin, all that action, we're only on lap number 4.
I know. Pagoda says the fast lap 201, 115. Here comes Alcaraz onto the side of Wedgstead. Side by side they go, heading into turn 1. Alcaraz has got it. And now here comes Wedgstead on the attack again, looking down to the inside. He's going to not go for it this time, but he's going to go for that draft now as we continue to race it down this straight.
Completely in the throttle the entire way down this straightaway. We go side by side. That's the 375 of Kurlikits on the outside. Not able to get that spot away. Kurlikits is doing a great job at rebounding. We saw him go off track quite a few times on lap number 1. Now we sit on lap 4, and he is trying to go forward through the field and doing a great job of that. But it looks like right now Hyman and Pagoda have really checked out as Alcaraz leads this small field, and you're now on board with Wedgstead looking up at Mark Alcaraz, and 6 seconds up the road is Hyman and Pagoda.
You're out on board with Richard Wedgstead. He's getting a good run coming through the kink, getting all up into that Thrustmaster wing. Is he going to look down to the inside? Hard onto the brakes they go. Not making a movement again in the corner. Wedgstead getting a little bit loose mid-corner right there, but Alcaraz got a little bit loose on the exit. They're going to have a race head into the final corner. Alcaraz and Wedgstead battling out for that final podium position.
Back onto the front straightaway. Up the hill. Wedgstead with a good draft and a good run coming across the start-finish line. He's going to take over P3.
Just for a moment right there. He's going to get back into that draft, and unless something happens behind him, he can't really break free of this car. And, ooh, Stratos going glitches, and Russell Soto almost getting into a little bit of contact right there.
Oh, they are running so close together.
They're bump drafting. I think we got bump drafted here in the F3. And we're going to go 3 wide, heading into turn 3. And Stratos gets into the back of Soto. Soto goes around and gets back into Soto. Into Stratos. And, does that fall under karma?
And that is going to take out 2 very fast cars from this race. Here is the replay.
The Stratos got very delayed on the brakes, and then unfortunately, Soto, to the cause of by himself, gets sent back into him, and Luca Ferrari saw that and just went, all right. And as we go to Gianfranco Pagoda behind Roger Hyman, still within draft range, but Hyman trying to pull away that gap. The draft around here is so powerful. Pagoda just needs a little bit of push to catch up to Roger Hyman and not really force a mistake from himself. It's a 23 lap race, and now let's bring up our Dancing Dots of Doom, and we got a car off at the kink. Oh, that was Soto. Soto carried on in his Formula Ford. And, well, when you drive a car of no downforce, it's going to be very hard. I think he realized that, and, yeah, I pulled it off right there. Luca Ferrari being caught by Stuart Millen.
Luca Varani doing a great job holding on to 5th place right now. Had a good qualifying run. Only a couple tenths off of Raul Hyman when he came across the start-finish line for his flying lap and his fastest lap of qualifying. Oh, side-by-side battle. That's Soleto and Cardella.
Ooh, and Mark Mathis is just hunting behind them. He's going to get on the brakes just a little bit earlier than them and avoid all that chaos happening in front of him. He could definitely go down to the inside at some point coming up into the next corner, especially at the end of this straight. But it's all about how you take your corners and when you decide to make your moves around here. And how clean you can keep your car, because I'm spotting a little bit of damage on a few of these cars right now. As here comes the send by Mathis. Very eager. And oh my goodness. 2 cars off. Here's a replay of Christian Glamsetter, one of the cars that was off right here. And that was just in front of this battle. And very wide and into the grass goes Christian Glamsetter. And that's going to really be hurting him. And now here's Johnny Coco, which was also involved. And I think this is just going to be one of those moments where somebody got very late on the brakes and somebody turned in without. Oh, no, yeah. Oh. Well,
that's 4 cars around in there.
To quote Miley Cyrus, they came in there like a wrecking ball.
Philip Lucas in a battle with Stuart Millen. 49 versus the 40. Side-by-side battle between Morrow and Flint. Flint gonna keep on to P14 as they battle for 13th. And you can also see on the relative box in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, Lachnier and Talsma are the 2 battling right behind them. 4 cars running fairly close together. The field has gotten pretty spread out from the top 10 back to 25th, Austin.
Woohoo! What a send by Flint. And indeed, the field has gotten spread out. We've had multiple incidents that have kind of separated the field. Some of these lap cars are going to be start playing a factor there. But no one's really out there on their own. Sure, Hyman has a 1.2 second gap on him. There is a lap car separating him and Pagodo. And so the only one really being separated on their own right now is Raul Hyman. And which that is very impressive, especially around here.
Mark Mathis battling. They went through one of those corners. Here's a replay. Looks like a possible incident involving Mark Mathis here in 432.
Ooh, just losing the back end. Try to take it too fast into there. That's probably going to be the most common thing we see here today. As Andy Flint leading Chuck Marr, Lachnier, and Talsma for 13th. Come up the hill, under the side, and across the line to start up their 8th lap. And here comes Chuck Marr onto the inside. Side by side they go. We got a draft battle here. Chuck's down there. Flint not going to have any of it. Going to go a bit wide and off the exit. And coming out of nowhere, Lucas Lachnier going to try to challenge Andy Flint out of nowhere. Lachnier sending it down low. Lachnier up into 14th. Chuck going a bit wide. Here comes Lachnier.
He's going to have a great run coming off turn 2. He's going to take it this time. They go side by side down the straightaway into turn number 3. Will he be able to complete the pass? He's going to be on the outside through this left-hand corner.
Almost got into the grass right there, but Lucas Lachnier round the outside up into 13th.
A little bit of a lockup on those front tires, but he was able to keep it. Well, sideways coming through that corner as well.
Lachnier, Morrow, Flint, Talsma, and this battle. Lucas Lachnier went from the back of this fight to the front of this fight. And I feel like with the pace he's putting on these guys, this gap might start opening up just a slight bit, but you gotta know when to push it here. This is Raul Hyman. What has happened to our leader, if anything? See Gianfranco right behind him. And Hyman, whoa, whoa, big wiggle right there. But not enough to close that gap, which has gained up to 1.6 seconds now. Hyman is clear of that draft.
Pagoda lapping a little bit. I'm sorry, Hyman lapping a little bit quicker than Pagoda last time by.
Pagoda did have a fast lap last time by.
Oh, sorry, yes,
from
he did.
Hyman's wiggle. But overall, Hyman's been going faster than Pagoda, which explains why he.
The battle between Philip Lutz, Stewart, and Millen. This battle's been going on for the last couple of laps. Millen's fallen back from the back bumper. Field definitely has calmed down since that sort of opening couple of laps fiasco that we had there.
Yeah, it hasn't been all lights out battling and all lights out craziness like Detroit was. But then again, when you have a track that's not as wide as Detroit and you do have runoff, it's going to take away some of that chaos. But yeah, this race has been very chaotic at the start and then kind of slowed down. But I think that's just going to be a little bit of a plateau and a valley in excitement. Coming to the end, though, we have seen some amazing finishes here at Road America.
Side by side, Caitlin Height, Chris Trott. Great move on the inside from Height.
Caitlin Height was involved in that start incident. They've been moving back up
the
there.
wall going right by. Good.
I'm sure Law not taking any prisoners jumping up there to 47th. And as we're looking through the field, let's go to our biggest mover. Where is Pedro Oliveira? Up 34 spots, sitting in 24th. You know, I don't think this is the first time we've covered Pedro on the biggest gainer. I think they like to start at the back and move up through the field.
Definitely is not the first time we've been covering him with the biggest mover of the race.
It does make it feel good when he gets to just pass everybody around you.
Looking at Dirk probably in the 51. We're talking about Oliveira, and here he comes to the inside.
Pedro down low, has got the speed, sends it up there, and Pedro is up in the 23rd, up 35 spots for the Brazilian.
Oh, another side-by-side battle. Reed Dennis against Alex Hopkins. Hopkins going to take that spot away from Reed Dennis. Oh, no. Dennis is going to go around.
Dennis, big slide.
Throwing at the wall. It looks like he might have just barely kept it off of it.
Dennis looking good damage-wise. Lachnier tries to hold it around the outside of Mario, and Canada Cooter gets sent wide. Chuck holds out for 13th, and now Adam Talsma looking in on Lucas Lachnier.
Using that draft, coming down the front straightaway. You can see Chuck Morrow swerving to try and break the draft on Lucas Lachnier so he doesn't get that big of a run, but it's not going to do much. And here comes Lachnier to the outside.
Lachnier looking very racy, but on the inside is Chuck, but Lachnier comes by Swings it around the outside. Says, thank you very much. I'll take my 13th place back. And I'll leave you behind me. Up front, battle for 8th. Stuart Millen and Matt Laubser going side by side. Matt sending it deep into 3.
Stuart Millen now in 9th. Looking ahead at Matt Laubser. Zachary Beaston currently sits in 10th. He's on that threshold for a top 10 finish. Coming back into the carousel. Completely flat out in these cars. We'll see if we can get a draft off the car in front.
He's going to be getting a draft off of Laubser ahead of him, but Laubser's going to be getting a draft off of Lucas as well. So all 3 of these guys are getting a draft off one another, except for Lucas. Since no one's in front of him, but it's not going to be very effective. These cars might have a moderately sized wing, but it's not enough to be like a vacuum cleaner and suck you up right there. You're gonna have to work. You're gonna have to work for your position still here. It's not like a NASCAR Cup car with those massive wings on there, just acting like a parachute.
Those big blank spoilers?
Yeah.
Raul Hyman, another week that he is just pulling away from the rest of the field. Starts on pole and just doesn't look back in that 38.
Oh, Pagoda and Hyman, identical lap times last time by. That's
that
impressive.
really just does show. Pagoda is fast, just not fast enough. And now he's going to have to work through traffic to try and get to the back bumper of Raul Hyman. Because every more lapped car that goes one lap down from Raul Hyman ahead, that's going to send him right back to Pagoda. There's Wedstead and Alcaraz, 3rd and 4th.
Ooh, getting into the grass just a little bit as Hyman leads out this race. Pagoda still behind him. No cars in between them for any drafting. And so they're going to continue on. Unless something happens, I think that's how they're going to finish this, because we've seen on how consistent and up front Hyman has been and mistake-free. And I've realized what I've just said. I am sorry.
Well, let's see if he makes a mistake now. Thank you, Austin Knight.
It's coming up to some lap cars. This traffic might prove a little bit of a trouble. When we look down the field, we do got a good fight with Chuck Maru, though. Lucas Lachnier being chased down by Chuck. Our battle for 13th. And these two have been going at it for a while between each other. And, ooh, moving into the pit lane and going back out on track, trying to break that draft. And now Lucas, a little bit of a weave on the straight. Trying to break more of that draft and stay ahead of Chuck Morrow. But Chuck knows he's there.
They're using a lot of tactics to try and break that draft, much like you would in an Indy car during the Indianapolis 500. But Lachnier doing a great job of it. You can see Morrow now almost completely backing off from Lucas Lachnier. Out of that really good window to where you can get a good run with the draft. As he keeps Chuck Morrow behind him. Slight mistake there. He went off track just for a second, but Lachnier not going to catch up by much. On board with Chuck Morrow. So we'll go back into the carousel, just over halfway done with the race here at Road America. See if we can get a good run off of this corner. Coming off of the carousel is the best place to get a good run.
It's not going to be a good run for Chuck, though. He had a little bit of a wiggle coming out of the carousel, and that's allowed Lucas to get an advantage. Even with the draft, he's not going to be able to make up that time he's just lost right there as they head into Canada corner. See Chuck getting a little bit more desperate with his lines. So we're just about near halfway through this race. Actually, yeah, just past halfway through this race. We were close for it for a while, but this race is brought to you by North World Sim Simulator Parts and Innovative Solutions. Is your sim racing house for cockpits, pedals, steering wheels, parts, all you need. Here you have it at northworldsim.com. Hyman still leading out, closing on some lap cars. Let's go down to Clark Williams and Adam Talsma. They race it through turn 3, and also Carlos Cranswick is closing in on these two.
Talsma up 13 positions, both Williams and Cranswick up 21 positions. So they've all been cutting their way through the field so far here today. You can see Talsma doing a great job right now, keeping on to that 17th spot. We have a couple cars up the road, so he's getting a good draft off of them. We'll see if we can reach him to try and make a pass. It's Andy Flint and Rickard Boberg. And Boberg going to have a good run to the inside. He's going to take it off Bliss for 15th, and he's going to take the spot away.
That was a very risky move, but Rickard Boberg making nice moves of it for 15th. So they just now know that the race finish is just over the hill very soon. And it kind of sneaks up on you around here.
Back across the line. Check another lap down. Oh, that's Oliveira off in the 65. Is that front wing damage? Yes, it is.
Oh, no.
He's coming into pit road.
Our biggest mover of the race in a incident, Pedro. Did he just get into the grass off the exit? Yes, he did. Try to save it, but unfortunately, those tire barriers are out for vengeance, and into the pits they go. And now we have a lot of drivers tied for exactly the same amount of positions of 20. Nope. James Luis just took, and Phil Waller. We have a fight for the biggest mover so far in this race.
Hyman and Pagodo still running first and second. Hyman continues to lap on faster than Pagodo, keeping him 2.6 seconds behind. Moving back to Philip Lucas in 7th place. He has Matt Laubser sitting behind him, about 9.5 tenths back. Not close enough to make a move, but here comes that long front straightaway using that draft. Can he get to that rear wing? It doesn't look like he'll have enough time on this straightaway, and that draft did not actually help him that much. So he has a draft, Lucas has a draft from Luca Varani up the road.
Richard Bogberg looking back at Andy Flint. The fight for 15th. You can see the draft allowing Andy to get closer and closer. He's looking at it. He's filling the mirrors. And he's going to stop early and not send it in. Probably a smart move to just wait for another time by for that fighting position. But he is getting closer, and I think a little bit of mental games are about to start to be played between these two.
Bobberg holding on to that 15th spot. Everybody's spread out. You can see it with that camera angle. 6 cars in the camera, all fairly spread out. 6 or 7 tenths in between each of them.
Yeah, these cars are all close to each other. That draft not really helping anyone. As Johnny Coco and Vincent Casanova are nose to tail with each other. And I think Casanova is going to be having the speed. He's going to be taking a look down to the inside, thought about it. And Johnny Coco takes the middle line, defending from both an outside and inside move right there. Very smart move as Raul Hyman goes into the 201.032. Just more insurance on Pagodo in the lead.
Even this battle for 30th and 31st is still interesting, as it's really just the only two among this part of the racetrack. They're kind of lonely out there. Only those two battling it out. You can see a couple more cars up the road, but they are around 2 seconds to 3 seconds up the road. So these two are in a battle for 30th. Upset 17 and 21 spots respectively. They have been really fighting through carnage all day long.
Indeed they have. That's been the hot areas so far in this race. A lot of incidents have been happening in that part of the leaderboard, and as you can tell, it's just a very contested area. Having a clean car and keeping a level head will get you through there.
Philip Lucas and Matt Laubser continue their battle for the 7th position. Oh, one car around the 14. That's Mark Alcaraz.
Mark and Alex Alcaraz get into each other. Coming through the carousel. Mark Alcaraz gets a little bit loose. Gets into the grass, hits the wall, comes across the track. Right in front of his brother. Brother relative, they share the same last name. I don't know what relationship they have. But on board with Alex Alcaraz. Hard hit in front of him. Unfortunately, has to take a wing to his wing. Looks like that didn't affect his car just a little bit, but that is a big hit for Mark.
Good reaction time for Alex going through there, though. He was able to keep his car from getting damaged or running over any stray parts on the racetrack, so great job from him. So he stays in 4th position now. Luca Varani takes over in the top 5 as Philip Lucas and Matt Laubser now battle for 6th. Oh, and there goes Laubser making a look to the outside. Not close enough. He'll surrender that battle.
Wonderfully defended by Lucas right there. Taking up most of the track, making it very hard for Laubser to mix up some moves. But Laubser, he is on the hunt for Lucas. And here he goes down to the inside. Got the move, and Lucas gave from that position, left a lot of space for Matt. Now Philip Lucas is lined up and ready to go, coming out of the carousel.
Lucas might have a good shot. He's in the draft. There he goes. He's going to try and get him back to the inside.
Here comes Lucas, who's going to be the last late breakers. They're both going to contest for it. Indicated at corner, a little bit of lockup from Lapser. Lapser holds it around the outside of Lucas.
Laubser keeps the 6th spot, now up 10 positions total for the day. As Raul Hyman sets the fastest lap of the race, 2 minutes 89.
He's on another level right now. He started this race a little bit hesitant, but at the end of this race, he is straight up ascended. Here comes Lucas on Laubser.
Will Lucas be able to get back to the rear wing of Laubser? Using that draft down the straightaway.
It's going to be a stretch at the end of this straight, so Lucas not going to be able to have a run unless Laubser just disappears from the entire server, but he's came back.
Laubser in the 31, still battling. Going to a replay.
Replay of Johnny Coco. And, oh, Johnny! Oh! Big hit. Coming out of the final corner. Steve Rubens, ooh, that was an vicious send if he was going to commit on that. Down to the inside, Gianfranco Pagotto sets a new fast lap as Giovanni Salento defending from the charging Steve Rubens as they battle this out. Raul Hyman, not the fast car out on track. That would be the car following him of Gianfranco Pagotto. But he's just behind by 3 seconds. He needs a miracle to catch up to him within these next 4 laps.
Individual sector times now. He's going to go slower through sector 2.
Yeah, Hyman's got draft of a few lap cars ahead of him. Pagotto has no one. Got a car off. And ooh, Hyman, that really hurt him right there. Pagotto's going to gain a lot of time.
Oh, Pagotto getting a lot of time.
That lap car helping out Pagotto. That gap's under 2 seconds now. Pagotto's going to be getting a good draft now. As he's now behind that lap car. He's going to get a good run through the kink unless that lap car, he catches that lap car before the kink. He will not. Here comes Pagotto. He's got the draft of the car in front of him.
Pagotto still faster through sector 2. I don't think it's going to be enough to overtake Hyman because he's going to come across the line for 3 laps to go. He's going to need to gain a lot more time on Hyman per lap and per sector than he is. Coming across the line this time by, we'll see the difference in the lap times. As we come across the line, Hyman going to finish this lap. What will the lap time be? 201.577. Now Pagotto's going to come across the line 201.286, so about 0.3 faster than Hyman. But if he keeps up that same pace, he's only going to end up gaining about 1 second coming across the start-finish line for on the checkered flag on Hyman. So he needs to gain about 1 second per lap, and he's just not doing that right now.
Well, he's caught these lap cars that he's dealing with are getting in his way at the most unfortunate times. He's trying to catch up to this lap car. They're going to go down to the inside, allowing him to have that move. That's going to be allowing Hyman to gain some time. And now the ball's in Pagoda's court with that lapped car. But you never know what these lapped cars are going to do, especially around Road America. It's such a tight circuit that there's not a lot of room to really let somebody by without impeding them.
Looking at Clark Williams, up 23 spots today. Great run from him. He's in a battle with both Flint and Boberg. Flint immediately up the road. He's going to have a good draft on Andy Flint to try and make a pass for 15th. He's going to tuck in the line, not going to make a pass, and down to turn 3.
Clark sitting at the back of this fight, watching and studying the two cars ahead of him, as these two guys have just been going at it with each other. Smil Hermer and Dirk Provley racing out for 21st.
Hermer. We've seen Samuel Hermer before in this series. Really great driver. And he's going to pass for 21st on Provley. He's going to take that spot away.
What a nice overtake right there. Textbook. Back up front. Hyman trying to pull away from Pagoda. Pagoda's got that lap car. He's going to be getting some draft help. Got a replay. This is Roll Hyman. I think he went off track just a little bit. Go a tad bit wide into turn 1. He didn't. Not turn 1. Does he go a bit wide through turn 2? Whoa. A little bit of a wiggle right there. I feel like we're getting the magnifying glasses out on him for any mistake. Flint dies down to the inside. And Flint and Bogberg still battling it out. Clark Williams still back there. Flint throwing up a tactical smoke screen, trying to distract the other drivers. And they're going to go 3 wide down the back, down the straight. Clark Williams trying to go down to the inside, trying to bring it into the grass, but he has to be behind him. And now here comes Richard Bogberg on Andy Flint, sending it down to 3, but Flint goes wide to use all that speed. But here comes Richard Bogberg down the inside. Richard Bogberg got it going for 14th.
Back into Lobster and Varani. Here comes Varani with a good run to try and peek into the top 5.
Luca dominant, big brakes and contact between the two.
Does Varani have damage? It looks like he might have damage to that right rear.
Marks are flying for Varani, but I think it's just a client side. I don't think he has any real damage. The iRacing damage cause giveth, and the iRacing damage cause taketh away. And in this case, they took away that damage. Hyman, Pagoda, white flag is in the air. And big crash, 2 cars in the wall. Mark Mathis and Phil Waller. 2-car collision heading into the entrance of the carousel. And oh, that's just too much speed going into there. Didn't account for the other car. Just a small tap will just ruin both your races. Williams, Flint, and Bogberg heads onto their white flag, and oh my goodness, we got a barbecue in the pit lane. Cougar cooking up some bratwurst in there.
I think it's a record for Austin. He's mentioned bratwurst twice today.
Bratwurst is just like haunting my mind. Okay? Lunch. Food. Yes. And little mistake by Andy Flint. And that's Clark Williams getting up there into 15th. Hyman, last corner, just a hill to go. Taking the start, taking the pole, taking the win. Raul J. Hyman.
Great run once again from Hyman. He sets the fastest lap on the final lap of the race. 2 minutes 5:62.
Grand slam. Unless somebody takes
Whitestead comes across the line. Alcaraz comes across the line. Ferrani gonna come home in 5th.
Luca had a great race today. He's gonna be happy with that 5th place. Somebody else had a great race. Philip Lucas, they're coming home in 7th. Back to this fight from our chopper for the battle for 15th. Clark Williams, Andy Flint, and Adam Talsma. Clark was just sitting back watching these two, and he pounced at the right moment. Clark, he's going to be coming home in 15th place. That's a lap car in front of him. Wow, what a race we had here today. Very action-packed and very chaotic. Which is something of a what's the word? Oddity here. These races usually aren't chaotic.
It's settled down only throughout the last half of that race, but first couple of laps definitely were extremely chaotic.
It certainly was, and especially here at Road America, it's just everything's just to be multiplied tenfold between a few drivers. But week 8 in the books, side-by-side finish between Casanova and Rubens. Oh my goodness!
Final couple of cars coming across the start-finish line. Pedro Oliveira comes across the start-finish line to finish out his race. Well, it looks like that is everybody across the line. Just as I say that, the 38 of Raul Hyman comes on to the front straightaway, back into pit lane after his victory lap. Another great win for Raul Hyman here in the iGPFun-F3 series. Your full race results: Hyman wins with Pagano in 2nd, Richard Wedstead 3rd, Alex Alcaraz and Luca Verani round out your top 5, with Matt Laubser, Philip Lucas, Stuart Millen, Zachary Beaston, Ben White rounding out your top 10. Then you have Dave Martin, Chuck Morrow, Lucas Lachnier, Richard Boberg, Clark Williams, Andy Flint, Adam Talsma, Carl Cranswick, Will McIntyre, and Lucas Marouk rounding out your top 20, with Samuel Hermer, Dirk Provoli, Christian Breach, Waldemar Cardella, Giovanni Saletto, Vincent Casanova, Steve Rubens, Mark Mathis, James Thulis, and Mark Alcaraz rounding out your top 30. Then we have Pedro Oliveira, Sonny Rosario, Clemens Punzengruber, Zoltan Zometer, Alex Hopkins, Marcus G, Caitlin Heights, Christian Glamsetter, Richard Veen, Reed Dennis will round out your top 40, with Ross Goodacre, Johnny Coco, Russell Kirkwood, Antonio Ruzewski, Phil Waller, Rod McGuire, Ejabola Lawal, Marcel Berg, JJ Gonzalez, Nick Cardy round out your top 50. Then Luciano Lorenzo, Chris Trott, Nolan Alar, Russell Sato, Stratus Kurlikitsis, Johan Bergeson, Klaus Kuger, Christoph Herbino, Sammy Venables, and Jay Buge rounding out your 60-car grid here at Road America. And I send it back to my colleague Austin Knight to round us off.
What a race we had here at Road America. As always, the iGPFun-F3 series presented by North World Sim, bringing on a fantastic evening of racing here at Road America. Last week it was chaos at Belle Isle. This week it was a little less chaos in the hills, But next week, we're going over to Brands Hatch, which I can certainly tell you is going to bring a lot of these guys a big old smile on their face, because Brands Hatch is a big old rough and tumble circuit, and it's going to be showing up a lot of these guys. It's a Grand Prix circuit, so not the Indy circuit, so there will be some space between a few cars, but it's a much smaller track than Road America. But thank you everybody who joined us here on Apex Racing Team for another great round of the iGPFun-F3 series presented by Northworld Sim. I've been joined by Joshua Lee and Marco Barbanera in the production booth. I'm Austin Knight, and I hope y'all have a great night.